Alrighty, yo, what is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. DDG94, back with another reaction video. Today, we're finna react to John Cena in 2015 was different, absolutely. That U.S. title run, all those things that, all those people he put on, the rivalries he went into, yeah, most definitely was fire. But anyway, so without further ado, let's get right into it.
25 is almost over, and with that, John Cena is just 3 months away from retiring. With less than 7 appearances left, the legendary career is at the very end. You guys know me, I love John Cena. When I think of Cena, I think of his Word Life days, I think of '07 Prime Cena, I think of 2012 Once in a Lifetime icon versus icon. But what if I told you that one of his best years in his entire career was after all of that? What if I told you that one of his best years was the year that he was barely in the main event scene, just running around with a mid-card title 13 years into his career? Listen, you guys already know what I'm talking about. After being a 15-time world champion, after all those WrestleMania main events and titles, John Cena in 2015 was on a mission. After years of "you can't wrestle," after years of "this guy doesn't put anyone over, he's a fraud, he's overrated, he's this, he's that," Cena in 2015 went on a revenge tour to silence his critics, and as a result had a generational run unlike anything we had ever seen at 38 years old. To cement his legacy even further, Cena had 40 plus televised matches, and every single week was taking on all sorts of talent. Wrestlers you never thought would ever be in the ring with Cena were in the ring with Cena, and Cena, for the love of the game, held it down. On this channel, we've talked about a lot of John Cena moments and a lot of John Cena years, but one year we haven't talked about is arguably his best. Ladies and gentlemen, it's finally time to take a look back at 2015 John Cena, because that year, John Cena was moving different. Let's take a
Facts.
look. When the year began, everyone knew, whether we liked it or not, that this was going to be the year of Mr. Insufferin Succotash. He was winning the Rumble, he was getting that major push, main eventing WrestleMania, and in this man's eyes, he had just found the next Cena. And after years of carrying the company on his back, Cena probably didn't care too much. If anything, he was probably excited to have less pressure and just be able to do what he wanted to do, and that was wrestle. And as soon as 2015 started, he put the world on notice that this was going to be the year where he was just going to be straight up hooping. Cena started the year off with a classic, Royal Rumble 2015, Rollins versus Cena versus Lesnar. These three men tore the house down. This is one of my favorite matches.
Hey, this shit was fire. This shit was fire. I'm telling y'all, bro, 2015 was an underrated year. 2015 was an underrated year in WWE. Very underrated year. Like, a lot of the matches from this year was fire, bro. This shit right here was fire, bro. Starting off with this one right here, this was a fire ass match
Of all time. Such a fun match, so much chaos, so much shit going down, bodies dropping, Cena putting in a really amazing performance, Lesnar coming out of nowhere and retaining the title. Classic match. But it was obvious that even when this match was taking place, that Cena was the third wheel. All eyes were on Lesnar and Seth Rollins. It wasn't until WrestleMania 31 where everything started to fall into place. When Cena took on Rusev at WrestleMania 31 for the US title, from Rusev killing Cena at Fastlane to him pulling up in a tank, everyone at the time wanted Rusev to get the win. The common talking points at the time were, Cena doesn't need the win, Cena winning will ruin Rusev, Rusev is undefeated, don't end it now. But what happened? Cena wins, LOL. Cena, after pulling out a springboard stunner and a bunch of other moves, beat the undefeated Rusev at WrestleMania, and for the first time since '05 was US champion, and people hated this. Quote, couldn't even let Rusev kick out of 1AA? I'm not surprised, I'm just disappointed. Whew, for a minute I thought they were going to put younger talent over. People were mad, people were very disappointed. At the time, I understood it, but what we didn't know is, for once, these idiots actually had a plan with Cena wins, LOL. Because the very next night began the US Open Challenge, and we ain't talking about tennis. After years of being accused of hogging the main event scene, not putting anyone over, and not being a good wrestler, not giving back to the younger generation, Cena made it his mission to put all that shit to rest and to elevate the US title. But what made it so fun was, not only was Cena wrestling every week, we never knew who the hell he was going to take on, what segment it would be. Would it be the main event? Would it be the opening segment? All we knew was Cena was wrestling, and ladies and gentlemen, we got magic. First challenger, night after WrestleMania, it was Dean Ambrose. That's a main event level match off the rip. And with the rowdy ass European Raw After Mania crowd, these two put in work. No build, no promo, no hype video, just these two going in there and just having a ethical wrestling match. And all we could do was just watch and enjoy. There was no time for, oh, I hope this person wins and he should go over and this not, bro. The match was on, shit was going down, and here we were. And boy, did we enjoy. Cena was taking all of Dean's offense, he was out here doing new moves, and just like that, we got a 15-minute banger, a match that nobody that day woke up expecting to see. But we saw it. No frills, no BS, and when it was over after Cena hit the AA after deadlifting Ambrose and getting the 1-2-3, it was like, alright, damn. Cena actually wants to elevate the title. This isn't just some gimmick. The two shook hands, and even though, like I said, there wasn't a build or anything, this actually felt like it meant something. And from then on, we were off. The next week, Cena stood in the ring and Cody Rhodes as Stardust came out. Who the hell would have ever thought this would be a future WrestleMania main event? And now listen, was Stardust even half of the star that Ambrose was? Nah, but that was kind of the point, because when these two got in the ring, you can't tell me just looking at this that these two weren't putting in work. It's just funny because you know damn well, say someone suggested, hey, we should do Stardust versus John Cena in like 2014.
This is back in my push Cody Rhodes. This was in my push Cody Rhodes era. This is when I wanted the WWE to push Cody Rhodes. He had too much potential around this time. Like I said, nowadays they kind of ruined his hype, but at the same time you still see the potential. But back then, this Cody Rhodes, a younger Cody Rhodes, yo, he had too much fucking potential back then.
That person would have got shot. Vince would have fired that person on the spot. Probably would have done some other things to him too, but NDA. But in 2015, with the open challenge, anything was possible. Yo, the craziest part about going back and watching all this was Stardust versus Cena was a 10 times better match than the WrestleMania main event. And you could tell by watching this that even in 2015, Cena definitely liked Cody. And what a crazy turn of events that these two would end up working together 10 years later during Cena's retirement tour and running it back twice. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how the hell Cody ever recovered from Stardust. What a legend. Now listen, was every week some amazing banger? No, we had Corporate Kane one week. Why? You know what, at least it wasn't the Big Show. But more often than not, they always tried. When Raw was in the UK, it was time for Bad News Barrett to pull up. And that was cool, right? Running it back 5 years after Nexus. Maybe this was Cena's way of apologizing for SummerSlam 2010. It was just a fun time because during this, Cena was so locked in and so in the zone. He still had his feud with Rusev going on during this. The Raw Open Challenges was just like a side quest. He was just out here farming XP on the side. Because during this, he would still go to Extreme Rules and whoop Rusev's ass too. In a Russian chain match, no less. But what really cemented the challenge was no doubt easily when Sami Zayn accepted the challenge in his hometown in what was his main roster debut, something they literally talked about recently on SmackDown. This was so fun, so cool, such a legendary Raw moment. This wasn't just some local talent gets a shot. No. Yo, they had Bret Hart pull up in Montreal, announce Sami, crowd goes nuts, and they were worshiping him before he even touched the ring. And just to add to the lore of this match, Sami dislocated his shoulder during the entrance and still tweaked. Now listen, I know how this happens, but still, every time I think about this, it's like, how you dislocate your shoulder during your entrance?
You got to be a stupid motherfucker to get fired on your day off.
But despite that, despite him wrestling that match injured and injuring even further in the match, these two put on something special. It's so hard to explain how good Cena was during this run. It was the moves he was down to take, the moves he was doing, always playing with something new, but honestly, he was just so damn fast, athletic, and strong. Like, I'm sorry, there was no way he was 38 years old. I don't know what they were feeding him. I don't know what stem cells he got in Italy, but it really felt like he was in his prime in the ring out here. Cena was always criticized for being clunky and just kind of unorthodox, as Jim Ross used to say, but here, everything just felt effortless for him. Everything was finally clicking. Yo, he was just tossing around. Every single AA felt so damn rowdy. He was just tossing everyone. Every week it was like AAs out of nowhere, but not normal ones. It was like he had something to prove by tossing these guys. Nah, Cena 100% wanted to prove something, so whether it was Sami, Ambrose, anyone, he wrestled like it was Game 7. The closest equivalent I can give you is this was like 2017, 2018 LeBron, where everything just worked, just nonchalant, going out there and just balling. Sammy was out here going through ring posts, having these indie style ROH matches, but delivering every single time. You had Neville pulling up and getting flip turned upside down. It was just the most ethical wrestling we gotten on the main roster week in and week out in a very long time. Now, if Cena had just done this for all of 2015, it would have been great, fantastic, amazing. But luckily for us, it was more than just a US Open challenge. In June of 2015, after having all those great matches, after vanishing Rusev for good, Cena stood in the ring, and as the US Open Challenge continued, he waited for his next opponent to pull up. And even though at this point we had seen a lot of NXT stars answer this before, nobody thought that the NXT champion was coming out. Kevin Owens answered Cena's Open Challenge. He walked into that ring, looked Cena straight in the face and said, "I'm better than you, I've been wrestling longer than you, and I'm gonna beat your ass." Think of how impossible this would have been in like 2012, 2011. Guys, it's hard to put in perspective. This was Kevin Steen, one of the king of the indies, face to face with Mr. John Cena, the face of the WWE, the man who made an event like 6 WrestleManias. This was never supposed to be a part of the simulation, until it was. KO kicks Cena, hits him with the deadliest pop-up powerbomb he could have possibly hit him, and leaves Cena laid out. KO hit that powerbomb like his legacy was on the line. And you know what? It basically was, because after this, it was confirmed that we were getting John Cena versus Kevin Owens one-on-one.
This was the best version of Kevin Owens by far. There's been no other version of Kevin Owens that has worked. Not even when he had the Universal title. This right here, NXT champion Kevin Owens, was the best version of Kevin Owens. Hands down. It's not even close.
At a pay-per-view. Listen, these days there are kids out there who have watched the company their entire lives and all they know is Kevin Owens. To them, Kevin Owens is a company guy. They don't know about the demon ROH demon Kevin Owens. They don't know about the savage who ran the indies. This was a man who once upon a time nobody ever thought would make it this far, let alone thrive in the WWE. But on this night, he was face to face with John Cena. And boys, and the 2 girls who watched these videos for some reason, it all led to Elimination Chamber 2015, Cena versus Owens. Nobody knew what the hell to expect. What kind of match were they gonna have? How would this work? Would Cena just bury Kevin Owens? Is Cena even built for this? Is Owens built for this? Spoiler alert, they were born for this. These two have a straight up indie match just in front of 20,000 people. Years before that was normal, Cena and Owens put on a classic in every sense of the word. The fans were going nuts, I was going nuts, commentary couldn't believe what was happening, and I told you, this was a year that Cena silenced his critics, and with this match, he definitely did. Cena, just like he had been all year, was pulling out moves we never thought he would do or could even possibly do. But it wasn't just about Cena doing moves. He was taking shit where it was like, yo, you good, bro? You sure you want to be doing this? I never thought in my wildest dreams that there would be a day where John Cena, the face of the company, someone worth millions of dollars, would be out here taking moves like this from the top rope. My jaw was genuinely on the floor watching this back in the day. Because for years, that's not what the company wanted from Cena. He was protected for the most part. He had to be safe. He was their $1 million investment. But by 2015, he was like, yo, that, I'm trying to show out. 20 minutes, no title on the line, just Owens versus Cena, 20 minutes of magic. And what made this match so much better, that much more iconic? Owens got the win after a deadly pop-up powerbomb. The NXT champion Kevin Steen, straight out of Montreal, pinned John Cena in the middle of the ring clean, 1, 2, 3, and had kids crying in the stands. He had grown men shook. I'll never forget this. This ending alone is legendary, but this entire match was just so different from anything we had ever seen Cena do. Yeah, the Punk matches were cool and all, yeah, no problem, but this was a different breed. I gotta say, I am confident that a lot of the whole Cena can't wrestle BS ended on this night in 2015. It had to, because if anyone watched this match and still thought Cena couldn't wrestle, there was nothing he could have ever done to disapprove of his allegations. What a match, and oh, by the way, they of course ran it back at Money in the Bank. Listen, John Cena at a Money in the Bank pay-per-view, what more do you need to know? The second match had so many expectations coming into it. The first match had doubt, right? How would it work? How would it be? Etc. This match, yeah, it was all, oh, this will never be better than the first. They'll never deliver like the last one.
Wrong.
Guys, I'm gonna be honest, the second match was even better. Instead of just running the same match back, which they easily
They
could have,
went
and not a lot of people
fucking
would have
crazy on this
complained,
one.
which is what they probably would have done if this match took place in like 2009 or 2010 or something, they instead cooked up an even better match. Cena finally had an answer for Owens' offense. In the first match, the story was Owens was unlike anyone Cena had ever taken on. He was more experienced in that style, so Cena didn't know what the hell to do. In this match, Cena came prepared, but Owens still came back strong because they really wanted to get over the fact that Owens was the real deal. Yo, when did you ever think you would see Cena in a Code Red struggle? What was wrong with this guy? Cena put over Owens so damn well, it felt like Cena was lucky to win this match. You know how hard that is to pull off with Super Cena? Mr. Never Loses, Cena Wins, LOL. It was so impressive that they were actually able to pull off this story. Like, damn, Cena was lucky to win this one. Kevin Owens is such a demon that Cena barely got by. And this was the same man who everyone was tired of winning all the time. The KO feud was legendary, and Cena, yeah, he wasn't taking any breaks. Why would he, you know? Who needs breaks? Drops a clutch with KO. Next night on Raw, he's right back at it against Cesaro. 20 minutes of action back-to-back nights. He was wrestling like the rent was due. Cena, I assure you, I've seen your house at Total Divas. You're a rich man. Your rent was not due. That match with Cesaro is so damn good. Guys, when Cesaro hit that elbow to Cena, to see a man like Cena be in the air like that, it made no sense. That Cesaro elbow was like a Mortal Kombat fatality. John Cena was in the air like that bird from Flappy Bird. That's a 2015 reference, right? He was about to touch the sky. Shout out to pre-CTA Kanye West. This was not normal, okay? Seeing Cena fly like that was not normal. And the first Cesaro match was so damn good and so special, they ran it back the very next week. And you know what? Why not? They went 10 minutes longer. Listen, summer of 2015, Cena is already a 99 overall. Cesaro is wrestling like he's a 97 overall, spinning around in the air and shit. You know, just 30 minutes of this. Closing out Raw, the main event, yo, life was good. I mean, yo, you don't believe me? You don't look at the crowd. Look at this homie. This homie was feeling this shit in his bones. Respect. The more I watched this, the more I was like, damn, this was definitely John Cena's in-ring prime. Okay, I know 07 Cena had more aura, he had more swagger, he was having great matches, but when did Cena ever look better in the ring than this? By July 2015, Cena had an insane resume for the year. 3 matches with KO on pay-per-view, 2 that were classics, 3 matches with Rusev, all that were solid, a classic triple threat to open the year, but most importantly, he had like 10 matches on Monday Night Raw that made Monday Night Raw worth watching. And he was giving a platform to wrestlers who otherwise would have never been in that position. If Cena stopped in 2015 July, it dropped the title, took the rest of the year off, he still would have been goated. But nah, he didn't stop there. Why would he stop there? Because then it was time for the Seth Rollins feud. On the last Raw in July, Seth Rollins shocked the world and accepted Cena's open challenge. The main event of Raw was going to be champion versus champion, and I remember being so hesitant to be excited for this. I was like, alright, listen, they're going to have a 5-minute quickie, interferences everywhere, probably some DQ ending to set up the SummerSlam match. That doesn't work for 2015 Cena, brother. Rollins and Cena went at it for a solid 15 minutes to close out Raw, and I swear to you, they did not hold back whatsoever. This was a pay-per-view match in every sense of the word. Crowd loved it, Rollins was on one, Cena was on one, and what made it even better was Rollins needs Cena right in the face.
He broke his nose.
His damn nose. Live on television. No tape delay, nothing. Cena was laying on the mat.
This is back when Rollins was talented, but his talent was very raw. Rollins really had the biggest problem I think I had with Seth Rollins back then. He wasn't polished in the ring. He was talented, but his talent was raw. He wasn't polished in the ring. He needed more work, because that's how he ended up tearing his ACL when he tried to powerbomb Kane and he slipped off the rope. He wasn't polished. He needed to learn how to slow his slow his speed down. He really needed to take his time with moves. Like nowadays, Seth Rollins is a lot more polished, a lot more slower. He works at a better pace now. He understands, where his feet need to be at certain times. And other than that, though, man, I'd probably say Seth Rollins is probably in the best position he's been in years. Other than that, yeah, this 2015 Seth Rollins definitely had a pace issue. He had a learning. He definitely had a learning curve. Him, Roman, Dean Ambrose, they all had a learning curve around this time.
Bleeding from his nose all dislocated. Yo, we already know. Cena did not care. Cena said, screw the referee, screw the break. He jumped on Rollins like he was an animal pouncing, and the match didn't miss a beat. You had the GOAT bleeding, face all fucked up, and you had the YG doing shit like this. The fans were jumping around like this is the most amazing match we'd ever seen. It was Monday Night Raw, July 2015. Well, what a time it was to be alive. Cena got the win clean, no DQ, nothing, just a happy ending, and it was such a fun night. And I'll never forget seeing this image on Twitter later that night, seeing Cena's face all dislocated and just being shook like, damn, this guy wrestled after that? This guy's a cyborg.
Jesus Christ.
He no-sold this and finished that match and sent the crowd home happy. And I was like, damn, that's my GOAT. All for the love of the game. Please tell me one person who in their 13th year plus was moving like Cena in 2015. Please tell me. But yeah, this all led to Cena versus Rollins at SummerSlam in a winner-take-all match. And to the surprise of no one, they delivered. You had white attire Rollins, seen on pay-per-view, titles on the line. We knew it was going to be special. But what was so fun about this was for months we saw Cena pulling out AAs out of nowhere, especially with the whole grabbing in midair and rolling through thing. Cena was doing this to everyone, and in every single match he was dropping bodies doing his thing. But on this night, you know, he wanted to put over Rollins heavy. He wanted the world to know that Rollins was that guy. So he wanted to bless Rollins. So when he did the whole catching the crossbody in midair thing and rolling through, he couldn't land the AA. But you know who was able to land it? Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins rolled through with the AA and gave Cena a taste of his own medicine. This was insane to watch. This was one of the biggest WTF moments of this entire run. What a way to put someone over. Have them do your Superman ability to you. Something you've been doing to every single person on the roster. This guy does to you. After this, I was like, all right, Rollins, you got it. You got it. Rollins in this match was everywhere, spinning around in the air and shit like a fidget spinner. Those were popping in 2015, right? The lights were on bright and these two delivered. And after 5 months, Cena finally lost the US title. Now, was the ending kind of BS? Yeah, definitely. It definitely
yeah,
was.
I remember that.
It was done for a reason.
That
Cena put
ended.
over Rollins
Yeah.
huge, and Rollins walked out both US and WWE champion, ending the US Open Challenge for a bit. By this time, Cena was hurting. No doubt. I mean, how could he not? All those matches, going that hard for all those matches week in, week out, wrestling at every Raw basically, wrestling at every pay-per-view, probably was doing house shows at the same time. It all definitely took a toll on him. And that's why they took the US title off of him for a while and gave it to Rollins, you know, to let him heal up and take it easy before ending the year off strong. And it was so cool because when they ran that match back at Night of Champions for the US title once again, because after all the work that Cena put in all year, Night of Champions felt like it was like 2005 or something. When Cena walked in for that match, that crowd adored him, that crowd loved him, that crowd worshipped him, and you can even see in this clip, even Cena was kind of shook like, damn, I haven't had this reaction in a minute. And I think a lot of it was just because of everything he did that year. I guarantee you that by September of 2015, there were a lot less Cena haters than there were in the beginning of 2015. And here it all came full circle. Just like Cena reversing a buckle bomb into a Hurricane Rana was also a full circle. More like half circle. But this match was great, and Cena won the US title one last time. And as the year was coming to a close, so was the US Open Challenge. Cena did his best to deliver in every match. Even like the most random matches that on the surface looked whatever, they still were pretty solid. Wrestlers who otherwise would have never gotten the Cena match got the Cena match. But sadly, his body was getting cooked, and his time was slowly coming up. And sadly, the US Open Challenge and the 2015 Cena run was forced to end before it should have. It came out that Cena in October was dealing with major injury issues. His nose was still messed up from the knee, his neck was messed up, his body was breaking down, and honestly, it made sense. Look what he did for the company and the fans in 2015. He left it all out there. He was having matches that nobody thought he could ever have, taking bumps he never took before, and by October, it was time for Cena to call it a year. But when news like that drops out of nowhere, that's when things fall apart. See, the US Open Challenge was this huge success that everyone watched, everyone was excited for. It meant a lot to the community, and everyone was waiting for that 1 week where somebody was gonna pull up and beat Cena, take that crown, and get the rub and go on to be a star. But since his injury came out of nowhere, they were forced to take the title off of him before they were ready, and sadly, this legendary run that had a minor stop at SummerSlam was gonna come to an end at Hell in a Cell to Alberto Del Rio.
Yeah,
What the After months of all this, after months of what we just witnessed, what we just talked about, after all that, it was Alberto Del Rio that ended this. Yeah, Alberto Del Rio. What happened to the game I love? All of this ended with a 7-minute match where Alberto Del Rio came back and beat Cena with a kick in the face. The same man who was tossing people around, dropping bodies, was overcoming all the odds, lost to Alberto Del Rio in 7 minutes. This was so sad. Genuinely heartbreaking. After everything we had all year, this is what ended it. I don't get it. Like, yo, they couldn't have signed anyone else. Like, nobody else was available on the indie scene, on TNA, in Siberia, in Nigeria, anywhere. Like, there was nobody else available. But, if anything, this just shows how special that run was, because nobody even cares or remembers the ending. No one remembers this. No one ever talks about this. All people talk about is how awesome the actual run was. And maybe that's all that matters. Cena in 2015 was different. He did all this genuinely for the love of the game. He could have coasted, he could have chilled, just did normal Cena stuff and called it a day. I'm sure Vince McMahon was backstage in 2014 so excited for the 500th Big Show versus Cena feud, or for Kane and Cena to run it back. But instead, Cena read the room. He wanted to cement his legacy, and yo, he definitely did. He silenced all of his critics. He put people over. He put on classics. He made the US title mean something. Then they gave it to Alberto Del Rio. But he wrestled, and people might say, oh, he only put over Rollins or Owens. He didn't put over anybody else. Bro, name me one other Stardust match from 2015. Just because he won the matches doesn't mean he didn't put people over. I know damn well that this made me look at Sami Zayn in a totally different way after that match. He carried Raw every single week and made that US title feel like a world title. He spent over 4 hours wrestling on Monday Night Raw at age 38, and he missed like 3 months of the year. Truly a generational run. I'll say it again, 07 Cena might have had more aura, world title matches and all, WrestleMania main events, I get it. But I don't think Cena was ever better in the ring than he was in 2015. In the comments down below, let me know, what was your favorite Cena match from 2015? What was the...
Absolutely. Hey, man, I'm going to say this. That was up there for Cena's. Like, if we have to talk about eras with Cena, obviously you have to start off with the Thugonomics era, the Chain Gang era, which would be from like when he won the WWE Championship from JBL all the way up to all the way up until he won the title back from Edge. Then after he won the title back from Edge, that long ass title reign he went on with the WWE Championship, that was the Marine era. Then when he tore his pectoral and came back from that, we call that the... We'll consider that still the Marine era. We'll still consider that the Marine era. But once he came back from that neck injury from Batista, that's Super Cena era. Facts. That's Super Cena era from 2008 all the way up to like 2013. That's Super Cena era. Then there's the 5-star match Cena, which would be... Then there'd be the legacy era. So I think the legacy era started with around 2014. I think 2014 is where the legacy era starts for Cena, because by this point he's not really in the title picture like that. The only reason why I think he even held the title in 2014 was because Daniel Bryan got injured. And then they killed Super Cena. Well, you know what? We'll say Super Cena ended the night Brock Lesnar squashed him. The moment Brock Lesnar squashed him, Super Cena was done. So we'll say from the moment Brock Lesnar German suplexed him to hell, to Suplex City hell, from that moment all the way to now, it's just legacy Cena. Everything for there's legacy Cena, and I have to admit, the legacy is 10 times better than the Marine era. That's all I'm gonna say. The Legacy era is 10 times better than the Marine era. The Chain Gang era was cool, but he was still he was still learning the ropes. You know, the Marine era. That would probably be his best era, like from a superstar perspective, but like from a wrestler perspective, his Legacy era is the best. The 5-star matches he had in his Legacy era so far, his Legacy era is his best era. I think that his Legacy era is from here till now. It's from when Brock Lesnar squashed him till now. He's in his Legacy era. So at this point, bruh, this has been his best era by far. Put on some of the best matches, shown some of the man. Dude has been on a different. Dude has been on a different level since then, for real. But anyway, so that's just gonna about do it for this one, man. Most definitely, 2015 Cena was definitely a show to watch. It was probably the only thing that was worth watching at the time. But then again, like I said, 2015 WWE is super underrated. The matches were fire. It's just the promotion, how they built up the matches, and all that other shit was trash. But the wrestling, the in-ring wrestling, the in-ring competition was fire, bro. The matches were fire. It was just everything around the matches. The build-up, the promotion, all that shit was trash. But the match, when you got to the match, fire. It was putting, people was putting out, even Roman Reigns was putting out bangers. As much as people don't want to admit that, Roman Reigns was putting out bangers around this time, and everybody hated Roman Reigns. But if you really look at his in-ring work, Roman Reigns is putting on fucking bangers, bro. For real, if we being honest. But hey, I digress though. I feel like 2015 was a very good year for the in-ring work of WWE. As far as the microphone work, the promotion work, the build-up work, ass. But anyway, so that's just gonna about do it for this one, man. I will see you all in the next video. Till then, deuces.